Hey, what is going on, you guys? Tony here, CCxRC, and today on the bench, I'm super excited to show you guys what I've done with my Axial SCX24. This thing has gotten a lot of hop-ups, and we've done like a video before about like the first things that I thought you should upgrade on it, and I think I got some of those things wrong in hindsight, but we'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll get into showing you guys what we did, because there's a lot going on with this, a lot of added weight to it to make it really low weighted down below, and yeah, it's really handling really good right now. So I thought I'd show you guys. First off, I've already taken this wheel off because I want to be able to show you this. These are kind of wheel extenders slash brass weights. So these go on and they extend out about, I don't even know, it's several millimeters. I don't know. I'll put a link, you guys. I have this probably in my, I bought it from eBay, so I can probably pull it up there. But it literally goes in on the pin where the hex goes, and then the hex actually sits way out here now. So it extends that, plus it adds brass weighting. And I have that all the way around on here. I also added a little extra weight by adding these Treal metal wheels. They're aluminum bead locks. You can see on the back here how they bolt in there. And they're not too bad. It's only 2, 4, 6, 8 screws to do the bead locks on the backs. And then there's 2, 4, 6 on the front you can add if you want. I actually don't like this particular one. I bought these before we moved. And on this particular one, Treal put their name in like black on this outer silver part of the ring. And I think it really takes away from the look of the wheel. Kind of unfortunate. They didn't do that on some other ones that I've seen recently. But yeah, on these ones, it is that way. It's kind of weird. Everybody, for, you know, a while, you want to brand everything you do. I get it. It does help people to know. Word of mouth is going to do you better, especially on something this small. Nobody's going to see that branding, and it actually would make me not want to buy the wheel if I saw it because of that. But I can say that they have somewhere it does not have that branding on it now. So that is good to see. Anyway, I don't have the right size wrench for this, so we just use needle nose pliers. It does change it the way that it attaches. So you've got this longer screw that fits in there, kind of a nut, but it's interesting in the way that it does it. So because it's a longer way to get on there, you can see the way that the nut, it doesn't actually, the screw doesn't stick through it. They've got to add extra threading to get in there. But yeah, all the way around, you can see the brass on the insides there. Let's talk about what else we did. So this is, if you added up all the price on this, guys, basically we've tripled the price of a standard SCX24. So you got to really want to make yours awesome. The nice thing is you can do it over time. And I mentioned that again. It's definitely something you don't have to do everything all at once. But as I open this up, you will see in here that I've actually gone ahead and I've had to modify it quite a bit in order to fit everything in here, especially this really large Komodo outrunner motor here. Spins around on the outside. We'll show you guys a little bit of crawling in here, and then I'll take it out and find some cool trails, get some pretty footage for you guys of it running. Running the stock 2S battery here, just a reaction one. And I was able to keep, for now at least, the stock ESC slash receiver. I'm not using it as an ESC anymore. It is literally just being used as the receiver. So that's something to take note of. But I was able to run all my wires into here. I had to create just a simple little piece of Lexan. So what I did is I took one of the tops of the packages like this, and I laid it out in here and just kind of cut with scissors until I could get it to fit in into the back underneath here. And between the two chassis rails, looking up front, and then tucking in a little bit behind. So I had to do a little cutout. And I wanted it to overhang a bit so I could put zip ties around, which are over on this side and over here. You can see the zip ties. And that allows that little platform to be made. So it's like 0.8 styrene. So this is 0.080 inches thick, or 2 millimeters thick. And I bought a 2-sheet pack of it when I did. It was about 17 bucks at local hobby town, but yeah, something to keep on hand. I like the thicker stuff because typically when I use it, it is for making supports and things like that, or for doing Velcro body mounting options for my cars. So that's why. All of my wires I wrapped just kind of along the side, because we'll talk about what we did as far as changes up front. In fact, we can probably do that right now. Up front, we did remove the stock servo. The stock servo, so I had said to do wheel weights up, one of the first things you do is add some weights there, get it low planted. Here's why I said that, and adding the wideners is because it gives you a really steep kind of angle at which the truck will itself recover as far as the gravity of it. So it's pretty steep. If we point it towards the camera, you can kind of see the angle, and I can feel about where it's a pretty steep angle at which it will recover, because it's very heavy down low. That created some problems though, and the first problem that I encountered was that the steering servo could no longer handle turning these tires with the extra width and the extra weight. So to remedy that, I bought the Hot Racing servo mount, and what it does is the servo mount typically has this corner back here that's got bracing around it. It doesn't seem necessary, but it's there. You can trim it off if you want. This wasn't too expensive, so I just decided to buy it. I think it was maybe 15 bucks, something like that. Aluminum, gonna be strong, you're not gonna get any flex from it. And then I bought the Emax 2, it's the ES08MA2 12G analog Metal Gear steering servo. And this thing has some power. We'll show you in a second. So this was it's under 10 bucks, something like that. And so now it really does move these wheels really, really well. And so if you're gonna do the brass down low, also do a servo right away. It's really easy to swap in and out. It's just a few screws to remove that plate and then to remove the servo. I did have to use the servo horn that came with the Emax. I could not get the servo saver one to work. In fact, I probably need to take this up one more hole on this horn. I also replaced the steering links up front with the Hot Racing ones while I had it apart. Just seemed like a good idea to just go ahead and swap that out so that I wouldn't get any flex from that either. I'm still running stock links. I'm still running stock casings. I am going to put a overdrive gear in the front axle. I'm pretty sure I have one for it to do that. Haven't done it yet, but it is definitely one of my plans to do that. The tires are RC4WD drive, and these are their Rock Crushers, micro crawler tires. You can see here on this, the model number and all of that on here. I just have these because my son chose the Super Swampers, the RC4WD drive Super Swampers, and the other wheels that we had. And I don't remember who made the other wheels. I think they maybe were Injora. So I have some more RC4WD drive tires as well. Some of their mud tires to go onto my Betty truck, the B17. So those are most of the upgrades that I can see up here. So to go over it again, brass weights and extenders, wheel extenders or hub extenders in the wheels, the Treal wheels that are beadlocks, metal beadlocks, RC4WD drive tires. I did do, these are 9 gram brass weight on the front here, diff cover, and then 9 gram also on the rear diff cover in the back. So we've added a significant amount of weight, and those are Hot Racing as well. The Emax Servo. So right there, I mean, wheels and tires, say $20 some, $30 for the wheels, for Treal wheels. The tires themselves, probably around 20, that's about 50. The steering servo, all of that was probably with the links and the tray, let's say $40, so that's about $90 there. The wheel weights I think were 50, so we're getting up there in the 150 for those upgrades. Then the shocks, I forgot to mention that I did do Hot Racing shocks, and those ran about $35, so $180. But the real expense came when I bought the brushless system that we installed here, which is the Furitek Lizard, which is on the back side of my stock ESC right here. Now the one thing that I messed up and didn't do was I should have bought the Bluetooth module, one of these, and I bought the one that didn't come with the Bluetooth, and so I had to pay and I had to order one, and we'll see why in a minute. So that was easy to install here. As you can see, all of these have really long cables. The Emax Servo has a long cable, can get way back here to plug in. And then the Komodo 1400 kV outrunner brushless motor up here in the front. This came with the little plastic spacer here that goes down to the transmission, and it also came with a pinion and another, the spur gear that goes to the pinion and mounts into the transmission, all of that. It came with those in metal as upgrades. So that was part of it. It runs about $110 for the whole combo. Make sure you get it with Bluetooth. They didn't have the combo when I ordered, so I bought them separately, and that's where I made the mistake. I did not buy Bluetooth. So I have it on order. I'll show you right now the reason why that it's a problem and that you need to have that, especially if you're going to run the stock remote. If I switch this over to my Spectrum, it might not be as big a problem. There's still a little bit of issue, and we'll show that in a second here. So we're going to plug in. It's very easy, and the way that the motor connects is just this little JST plug on the side right here. Looks like a balance lead, so that's your motor wire. It's not the 3 separate wires that plug in, which is my problem. So we've got everything running. So if I pull my trigger normal and I pull back on it, mine goes backwards. If I go forward in reverse mode, it will come forward. So, but what you can see here is how smooth and controlled you can get this going. That's crawling right there. It is moving forward. That is insane how slowly it can just creep. And this is in the high mode on the controller. If you want even more control, you could switch into low, and then when you're pulling on it, you can really make it creep. I don't know why you'd ever need that, but it will keep power and it will crawl right over things. So it is not a censored system, but it's pretty smooth because of it being that outrunner. Now the problem that I run into is, you know, I can crawl it fine, you know, in reverse if I have to. I can do the whole push instead of pull, and I've done enough RCing that I've trained my brain that I can just kind of do whatever, learn the motion that I need to make it do what I need to do, especially because I drive one-handed and all that for getting video. It's pretty easy for me to adapt. But the problem is the speed. The speed in what would be reverse, which is forward right now for the car, that's it. That's max speed. It's basically like the motor has been reduced for the reverse power, maybe moved to like 60%, 50%, because that is the power I should have in forward motion. There's one, there's the other. You can see and hear the difference. And so I really need that power, and it makes it smoother and more controlled to have that power for going forward. And so I have to be able to do that. So I'm going to go out and just run it like it is, because I've already figured out how to drive it this way, and it's not a big deal. But that's the one thing that I do need to do with this still. Otherwise, it's handling and doing pretty awesome. But it can get up and over things still, even with the power that it has. You can see this thing flexes pretty good. Very controlled, got that nice weight. I'm curious one more thing here, as far as the weight being down low and not rolling. If we can get it over at an angle and not tip. Yeah, so it's doing pretty good wanting to put the weight down on the ground, because it's hanging. See if I can do that toward you guys, do that same kind of move. Really hard angle, and we can get it to move itself around and forward. That front end we need to drop. There it goes. So as you can see, it's very smooth now and handles completely different than what a stock SCX24 handles like on this type of course. A little $30 here, $30 there, and you can go a long way with this, guys. So anyway, thanks for tuning in as always. Check out the rest of the video here, guys, and we'll catch you next time.